Hello, friends. This is a little bit of an abbreviated presentation because Tuya and I are in transition. I presently am in the Chicago area and will be in Phoenix fairly shortly, where it will be possible, I think, to purchase a broadcasting system which will allow us to continue our work, whether it comes from the Temple of Silence in Finland, or whether it comes from the Phoenix area and the general southwest area. So some of this is a bit of an experiment. Okay, let's see how that works. I'm trying to see whether... anyway, hello, and perhaps you see me there. Well, anyway, the American election is 3 days away. And it is, in many respects, a global election, with great consequences for humanity as a whole. So I am trusting that we all want to work internally to make sure that the soul of the United States and its soul sign prevail over the personality tendencies and the personality sign. We are not really going to have a pure expression in any sense. We're not there yet. But if we move in the proper direction, it will be good for the United States, and it will be good for the world in general. So I think what we're going to do is look at the alignment with the soul of that nation and with the soul of humanity. The Tibetan has given us a wonderful book, The Destiny of the Nations, and in it we find that every nation has certain qualities which must eventually be expressed in harmony with the qualities of other nations. Now, when we live in a particular nation, it's very important that we have a sense of how we can represent the soul qualities of our nation. And we have done some work along that line. But since the United States is often considered the leader of the free world, we will focus upon it today and see if we can help bring forth the larger soul qualities rather than the divisions. Now, as you may know, the personality ray of the United States is the militant sixth ray. And it causes all kinds of competition between varying idealisms. So there is a certain separative quality in this clash of idealisms. Further, the sign of the United States, in the personality sense, is Gemini. And this is the sign of polarity, and oftentimes a division between the poles. So rather than a harmonization of these competing idealisms, we have a clash, a kind of warfare between visions of the possible future. And we certainly see that presently in the alignment of the lack of alignment between the blue and the red states. The blue states will stand more for the soul direction, not perfectly by any means, but for the soul direction. The red states relate to Mars and to the sixth ray, and generally to a reactionary position. So we certainly have seen a most fractious competition, maybe a competition which has gone unhealthily as low as it ever has gone in American politics. And the psychiatrists examining this situation say people are simply worn out with the entire problem, and their psyches are a bit frayed, frazzled. And maybe some of us are experiencing this. Now, excuse me, we don't want to get caught only in this contentious, fractious, competitive, low interaction. If we are aware of it, the United States soul is the second ray of love wisdom, and you can already feel the movement in that direction. It doesn't mean that any one candidate these days perfectly represents this kind of love wisdom which one day will express itself, but it's on the way. And rather than the divisive sign Gemini, so polarizing in its early days, we have the sign Aquarius as the soul sign, and it is a sign of synthesis and inclusiveness, in which the great variety of different ideals, different approaches can all find their place in a larger prevailing unity. So love, wisdom, unity in variety, and variety in unity, this is the inclusive solution to this frictional, fire by friction, competition between the various rather limited ideals. So what we're going to do, and I do apologize that I cannot broadcast any music for us. It's something that Tuya and I are able to do when we're in the right place with the right equipment, which I am not at the moment. But we will do our best to catch up with that and make that available to you during these Ask programs. Of course, behind the whole process is the network of triangles which opens up to the spiritual triad and even to Shambhala, bringing in the higher types of energies, which are needed to sway the consciousness of humanity towards the soul. And of course, we're dealing with the head of the entire hierarchy, the Lord Maitreya, and as we think about invoking the souls of nations and the soul of humanity, we do think this mantram: we have gathered in your name, Lord Maitreya, be with us. Well, some of us are situated in the area ruled by the planetary center, London. Some in the area ruled by Geneva, and some in the area ruled by New York. And maybe a few in the area ruled by Darjeeling, a very pure force eventually, and Tokyo as well. So we keep in mind the planetary centers under which we work. Now, this will not be a long meditation, and I do hope it is coming through to you with reasonable sound. What we're going to do is think about the soul of humanity, that perspective which takes the whole into consideration and thinks about the greatest good of the greatest number. This is what we want. No selfish solution. We say, oh, well, this is best for America, but then we ignore other countries and their legitimate aspirations. We don't want to do that. This is not a separative process. So we think first, meditatively, about the soul of all humanity. And this, of course, is the best energy that can come out of humanity at this time. Right now, the soul of humanity is said to be the fourth ray of harmony through conflict, and its personality ray the fifth of concrete mind and science. But we are all heading towards a condition where the soul ray of humanity will be the second ray of love, wisdom, and its personality ray the fourth. And so we recognize that the present rays of the Occident are exactly what the soul of humanity will express, and its personality too. So in these trying days, we ask that the soul quality of humanity, the impending second ray of love, wisdom, express inclusively helpfully to all human beings. And in the choice that is being made in America, very influentially in America, we ask that the second ray of love wisdom and the great sign of universality, Aquarius, rule the choice. May these energies and the direction in which they lead be in the minds of the people who are making the choice. It's almost as if we can put into the ethers the thought of love wisdom and the thought of inclusiveness and universality, and not simply a selfish, financially motivated choice, which might be good for the pocketbook of a particular nation, but not especially good for the many human beings in the many nations. And so in this election, although there is no complete perfection, may the tendency towards love, wisdom prevail, even though it may indicate some necessity for sacrifice of some of our more selfish, individualistic tendencies. So throughout the United States and reaching its voters, may the great indigo ray of love wisdom influence the choice. And may the inclusive, purifying, unitizing, stimulating, etheric sign Aquarius contribute its part towards leading the soul of the United States and the soul of humanity towards the energies of the Aquarian age. and may the greater good of the nation, considered from its sole perspective, and the greater good of humanity as a whole, be in the minds of the voters. In the Aquarian age, liberty, Aquarius, equality, Libra, and fraternity, Gemini, must all prevail. And may all of us and those who follow the election and those who vote in the election promote these higher energies. Love, wisdom, liberty, equality, fraternity. And if we succeed in this, the Christ and his energy, the head of the hierarchy, will permeate the consciousness of humanity, thus preparing the way for his physical reappearance. And now we will use the great mantram released by Shambhala when the Christ decided that he would in fact put in a physical appearance, not just etheric, not just astral, but in fact appearance in his Maya Virupa in the dense physical levels. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. from the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Friends, we are glad you have attended today, and we have another presentation tomorrow. We're not sure where it's going to be given from. It might be from Finland, or it might be with me in Phoenix, but we will continue our Ask presentations so that we can continue to meditate in a way which interlocks these various approaches and helps subjectively with the transformation of human consciousness. So please do join us tomorrow for the meditation for attracting money for hierarchical purposes. And chances are we will be changing our presentations to 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, due to some of the time changes which have been occurring. Thank you very much for your attendance, and we'll be seeing you and working together consistently as we can during the Ask presentations, which, as you know, triangles Wednesday, reappearance of the Christ Thursday, dissipation of glamour Friday, invocation of the soul of nations and the soul of humanity Saturday, and attracting money for hierarchical purposes on Sunday. And of course we'll be doing our pre-full moon and full moon broadcasts, and also I hope to broadcast the Scorpio solar fire ritual meditation at the time of the Scorpio full moon, more or less, in that period anyway. We'll see you now. All the best. Bye-bye.